It is a privilege to be joined by NXT superstar Drake Maverick, who, as you can tell, hasn't, despite everyone else having a dodgy lockdown haircut, he hasn't got a single follicle of hair on his head out of place. How have you done that, Drake?
Been very fortunate to be able to still attend, NXT tapings at Full Sail and get a haircut with the barber, because otherwise I would have been in lockdown beard, lockdown hair, some kind of small Sasquatch. That's the kind of I've got to been in by now.
Yeah, you'd be stuck with like Ace Ventura lid like this.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. So when I wasn't thinning like my father, thanks Dad, but it looks like he's passed that down to me. But I used to like the side. I did in my younger years, about 5 years ago. But
yeah, it's costing me a fortune though in just like goo to keep it down.
We're just talking now about like men's haircuts and fashion tips now. We're just going to completely change the direction of the interview.
This is what it's all about. Yeah, this is what we're here for.
This is what we're here for. How about your brows? Do you ever get them done?
No. Well, that's a recent thing. So I've started going to one of the barbers that offers it, but I've not got the bottle for it. They burn my ear hairs though.
No, my wife waxed the middle once. Never again. I'd rather pick it, So.
I'm getting told I've got to fix that. Oh, is that your barber there? just your eyebrows. How have you been? Obviously, a pretty dramatic last few weeks for you.
Whirlwind couple of months. Going from a real low to a bit of hope, and then it's just been up and down. I really can't explain what emotions I've gone through, because I've been through everything. And I'm talking not being able to sleep some nights, some days going on my social media and getting a lot of support, and some days on my social media getting not so much. It's just it's been a whirlwind. But I'm glad that now I don't have a lot of things hanging over my head and I can just get back to work.
Well, throwing back to that day, obviously you found out the news, you got your papers, and you put that video up on your social media. Did you know at that time, obviously you didn't, but your feelings at that time, were you thinking, if I nail this promo or if I nail just talking to the fans, really, wasn't it? If I get this right, I might still be in with a chance.
So I don't think, and this is the difference, I don't think anybody has been in the situation that I was in before, whereas you've been released, but we still want you to do these televised appearances. So I'm having the NXT crew come and follow me, and they're following my return to the ring from being general manager. It's the first time I've stepped in the ring as a performer in like 2 years, probably. And they were following me around. And then when I got the phone call, I called James Long, who was the producer of the video, immediately, and I said, "Jimmy, they've released me." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, but here's what's weird. They still want me to do the Cruiserweight tournament." And he's, "Okay." And I just said to him then, I go, when these documentaries that start going one way and then something happens and it just takes it another path, I'm like, let's not ignore this. This is happening and this has landed in, your lap right now. Like, let's just go with what it was. And I did a promo to let everybody know I was entering the Cruiserweight tournament. And it was sort of my own accountability crib with the light I've got now and in a chair, and just say to people, hey, when I wrestled Mike Bennett, I got the bug again and I wanted to step back in the ring, and it's taken months and months and months, and I'm finally getting this opportunity. So I just sat in the chair and just said what I was feeling, and it all came out. And I'm a real, and you can ask my wife this and my family, I'm not really good at emoting in outside of the ring. I can really express myself inside the ring, but outside of the ring, I've found it very hard to. There's a certain responsibility that you put pressure on yourself as a man to be a man. And that includes many things, like you have to be tough and you have to not let things affect you emotionally or anything like that. And I went through a long time of that. And it took a lot to bring that out of me. And I just was like, you know what, for the first time, I'm going to not be a character. I'm not going to be anything the audience expects. I'm going to be me. And this is what I'm feeling. This is where we are right now. And it just came. And it it really was what was happening. Like, if I don't win the tournament, I'm gone, and that's it. So it was just, I just let me and I let everybody into what's in here about how much I care about this job, how much I care about this industry, and how much this means to me. Because if I'm going out, I want to make sure everybody's going to watch. So one, I can be reinvented and just not be remembered as the guy that peed his pants, the guy that couldn't consummate his marriage, anything like that. Pretty much the same situation Drew was in. He didn't want everybody to remember him as the three-man band guy. And I didn't want anybody to remember me as that, because I know deep down I'm more than that. So I just wanted to make sure that, please, I've got 3 more matches. Come on this journey and watch with me. Whether it ends in a bad way for me or it ends in a good way, let's just see what happens, and just please come on board with me.
Was there something about it? You mentioned Drew there and not wanting to be remembered for the 3-man band stuff. Was there something about it when you got the papers through that you almost felt like you had regrets about what you'd done? You thought you'd done things wrong or could have tried harder? Or did you just think it was like there was nothing more you could do, but now I'm going to take one last shot?
I'm not in control of that side, but sometimes you, as a competitor, and WWE superstar, you want to be in control of everything, and you can't be. And as soon as you accept that, then your days get a little easier, because I can't control what other people think of me. I can't control what other people in a room that put the show together think of me. I can't control that. All I can control is my attitude. I can control the way I look, and I can control the way I conduct myself, and that's it. I really can't control anything that. And if I keep control of that, hopefully something good happens. If it doesn't, well, maybe I wasn't as aggressive as some people, or maybe I didn't knock on Vince's door every day. That's stuff that I will own. But I think everybody has regrets when you go through a situation like this. You look at it like, well, what could I have done better? Sometimes you just can't help it. And this is a situation we're in right now. The world's in a real funny place, and it's totally out of my hands. But what was in my hands was what I had in front of me, and that was 3 matches. Now, if I'd have sucked in those 3 matches, I think you probably wouldn't be having this interview with me. But I had to go in there and give absolutely everything I could in those 3 that I knew that I had. So, as I did with the 24/7 title, as I've done with everything in my career, and I'm sure it's a running joke with every colleague that I've had, that just give me something little, I'll make it something. I'll make it work. And this is what I have. I'm going to go make it work, and I'm going to give my absolute everything in the ring, because the WWE universe hasn't seen what I can do in the ring. A lot of people have before I got here, but now it's time to show them absolutely everything, because if I don't give everything, then I don't know where I'm going to be at the end of this.
Were you caught in 2 minds as well? Because I guess part of you must have been thinking about, what you had to do next. And obviously social media and everything is so important when you're outside of the WWE to promote yourself. And was there a part of you in your mind thinking, oh God, I've got to rebuild, as well as try and, do the best as I can in this tournament?
Very difficult situation, because on one hand, and again, no one's been in my position. So imagine having, when there's only one game in town, the real estate to have 3 televised matches on the way out of a company, when there's no other. This is an unprecedented situation. There's no independence. There's no other game in town but WWE, and they're giving me 3 chances to either advertise myself or advertise myself to the company again, to go, oh, yo, boys, I think you've made a bit of a mistake here, because I'm pretty good at this. So it was just, it was a catch-22. It was, do I, carry on like I would if I was not under contract with WWE? Do I still toe the line? And I was trying to toe the line as much as I could, to be fair to myself and fair to the company, because the company could have just said, oh, he's gone. Okay, exchange him with somebody else. They could have, and they didn't. And I'm blessed that they didn't. And I'm glad everything worked out the way it did.
How soon into the tournament did you realise that the momentum was kind of changing, and that your story was becoming the story of the tournament?
I think, personally, after wrestling Kushida, I thought, whoa, okay, there's some momentum here, and it's the fans. There is some momentum here, and it's you can't think about this. We have no audience there live, but we captured everybody, and we caught them. Like that lightning in the bottle thing. Like, I can't imagine what it would have been like if the fans were there. but we were in a situation where the audience isn't there, but you could still register what they were saying and what they wanted and that they cared. And that was what meant the most to me, was we got them to care. And it's very simple to just put a wrestling match out there and, oh, it's a good match. But I've never been in a situation where no matter how good the match was, all they cared about was winning. It honestly was like watching the Rocky movie. It didn't matter what happened as long as Rocky won. People just stuck with the whole 90 minutes, 2 hours, whatever the film was. They just stuck with it the whole way and hoped to see Rocky win. And that was what registered the most for me. All they cared about was a guy winning. And like, that's the beauty of pro wrestling at the same time. So, to be that guy, I'm, again, just blessed.
Then when the final came around, obviously a couple of weeks ago now, Santos Escobar, right?
And you can see the remains of him on my head here.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for that. Santos Escobar. I mean, being in the ring with him, he's been around a long time, and I think we had brief interactions at Impact when I was there, but he's a tremendous wrestler. Like, from another country, successful there, and just, there was a mystique to that Phantasma character as well, that he's just shown to be a complete fraud, but by taking his mask. And that's a big deal too, taking your mask off when you're a Mexican wrestler. That's a real big step. So I'm interested to see where we both going forward. But to be in the ring with him was, a true honor. He really is a tremendous competitor.
And obviously that match in itself, and obviously the aftermath, it was kind of what you get into WWE for, isn't it? That emotional moment, having the moments themselves, almost in quote marks, the moment. That's what you're there for, isn't it? To bring out, the feelings and the emotions of the fans. And you had the, great match before with the talented guy, but then the Triple H moment on the ramp. So it's one of those things you must kind of get into the business for.
There was so this is the thing, you can turn up with a chip on your shoulder, like they've released me, and have a face on all the time, or you can turn up and be a professional and go, what would you like me to do, sir? Because again, this is a tremendous situation and a first time ever situation where they're giving you 3 matches on the way out the door, whether that's to advertise yourself or to advertise to them that, like, hey, I'm good at this. And I turned up every day. I didn't know what was happening, but whatever I was told to do, I did and executed it the best of my ability. And then the closer we got and they put me into the final, I'm like, well, okay, because we've got this interest, that's going to be awesome, because maybe they're taking that interest the whole way in the tournament. That's fine. So everybody just watched the whole journey. And at the end, I just sat there and like accepted, there it is. That was my last one. And I looked up, and you can actually see me look up, and that's when the tears started coming, because my friend Dave passed from cystic fibrosis a few years ago, and you see me actually look up to him like, I did it, Dave, and I wish you were here, because he always pushed me to be a WWE superstar, and when not a lot of people would. They thought it was, I'm 5'4", I'm 100 pounds and a sponge if it's wet. So it was just, I just looked up to him, and that's where the emotions came from, because like I just wish because there's not a lot of people there, and I just wish he was there. I do. And just walking away, all a blur, because you just got emotions. I'm sick of crying, sick of it. Just I don't know. Like the one day I let it out, I haven't stopped since, because everybody said such nice things, and just colleagues have said such complimentary things as well that you never knew you had the respect of, because you're too involved in your own stuff and they're too involved in their own stuff to sit down and like just accept what we're doing here. And so when I backed up the ramp and Hunter was there, I honestly thought he was just giving me a handshake, and we were gonna have a nice moment where it's like, you really busted your ass, and then when he handed me the folder, I'm like, okay. And it was symbolic. I mean, I text him later on, like, hey, I think I signed under duress. I look kind of upset. But it was just such a great moment. I mean, everyone could look into it like, well, why didn't he have his attorney there? But it's a really special moment. And I go back to times when Cedric Alexander and Hunter came out and patted him on the back, give everyone a thumbs up, letting them know that he's going to be all right. Same as Mia Yim. And that was a really special moment we captured. And myself and Paul exchanged some texts after and I spoke to him the other day, and I said, it's really hard when you're anybody, especially when you're as big and the presence of Triple H, to stay small for somebody and leave them the spotlight. And that's what he did. And if you've been in this job a long time, you'll know the respect of doing that is. And it was the most gracious thing he could have ever done. And, I thanked him very much for that.
Now you look back on it, when do you think he made his mind up on keeping you?
Oh, straight away. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, back to what I can control and what I can't. All I can control is my attitude, giving the absolute best performance that I can. And that's all I could give. And that's all I did. And I'm really, as I said, blessed, thankful, happy that it worked out for me.
I think I've seen it on the bump that you've got the papers on your wall somewhere, haven't you?
I do. I framed them the following day because I'd never want to be in that situation again. Shawn Michaels pulled me aside after it and he said, guys like us, I was in a league with big guys, but the way I stuck it to him was be the absolute best every night, no complacency. And I'm like, yep, you're right. So I wanted that as my reminder that every day, and this is off the back of what Shawn said to me, I look at that every day as that conversation that we had, and to remind me every day to go out there and just kill it. And remember, I never want to be in that situation again. And dreams don't work unless I put the work in, So that's why it's there. It's just a reminder to me that every time I leave the house, 100% is not enough. You got to do a lot more than that. Whether you're hurt, whether you're tired, and we're all hurt as wrestlers, as WWE superstars. Trust me when I tell you, we're all hurt, and that's a reminder that like put that aside. You got to go bust your ass today, buddy. So, and that's in everything. So I see that when I go to the grocery store. I see that when I go to the chiropractor. I see that when I go to the gym, and I see that when I go to Full Sail for NXT. So I see
put 100% into those groceries.
Same groceries, man. Yeah. When I get my pizza and wings, yeah, that's what I look at first. You better give it all today. Get them wings. But it's symbolic for me. It's not for anybody else. It's not for my wife. That's a reminder for me every day. Don't be complacent and don't disrespect what you've done and what you could have going forward if you just keep building on what you've built. Because I was in a very, very fortunate situation that not a lot of other people were. And that's all I had in front of me. And, so that's the reminder. Just be very thankful for where you are.
It kind of reminds me now, talking about it, you put out, the last 2 or 3 years, you put out that tweet on WrestleMania, haven't you? About, never be jealous, just work harder. And when they get there.
Be happy for other people's successes, because if you're bitter, if you concentrate on other people, you'll become bitter. If you concentrate on yourself, you'll become better. And I've always believed in that, because I'm happy for other people's success, because this is a very, very tough industry. And nobody's journey is any different to mine, but it's been very difficult for me being an undersized gentleman. So you have to put that extra mile in. You have to put that extra effort in. And sometimes the wife disagrees with how much effort you are putting in, because still got to put the house time in. But it's those things, man, and they're all reminders, and no regrets.
And I guess it's all, the release in many ways has been serendipitous. Now it's led to, you've got the opportunity to be maybe a little more in ring than you have been before, and in ring and NXT, it's kind of the place to be, right?
It is, yeah. NXT is it's the premier brand for the style of entertainment it does. Did you see NXT takeover in your house?
Yes.
And I think it's got the perfect combination right now of entertaining characters and the best in-ring competitors in the WWE. Like Dexter Lumis is an incredibly intriguing character. He hasn't spoken, and I'm engaged constantly. You got the Undisputed Era and Adam Cole that, in my opinion, are the absolute best at making everyone look 10 times better than they did before they stepped out for their entrance. You know, they're so damn good. And the cruiserweight division's even stepped up. This whole tournament has elevated several people on an emotional level. It's elevated the championship. It's elevated people, you know, from 205 Live into NXT. The whole tournament has done great for everybody. And, you know, I'm so happy to be part of NXT. And one of the biggest things that is so awesome about being part of NXT is NXT UK as well, because it's been very difficult to be able to go see my family, and they're not getting any younger. So I'm hoping that there are situations where I can go overseas to England and back home, see my family, as well as being in front of those British crowds again for NXT UK, because I do miss them. We miss all the WWE universe, but I miss those British crowds, man. They're, you know, they're something special. They always have been.
And just quickly, we're nearly out of time, but speaking of going back home and everything, last time we saw you was on the UK tour last year, and we were at a signing thing, and you referred to you and Drew as the two godfathers of the British wrestling scene, the two old men of the British wrestling scene. And obviously since then, Drew's had a wild old few months, hasn't he? How happy to see that, Royal Rumble and WrestleMania?
Remember Drew's story? He had a direct line to WrestleMania, and then, as I said, when they were documenting him, that took a turn, didn't it? Just like, oh, Drew, by the way, there's a pandemic going on, and here we're going this direction now. Drew's story is so motivating, and if you know him, you know how much he cares. And I mean, we call each other in text every so often. Like, we're married, we're not as close as we could be, but it's like Drew's like an inspiration to me, just because of he reinvented himself and he made everything happen for himself. And, you know, I've known Drew since he was thin as a rake, 6 foot tall, wearing spandex blue, shiny pants on hitting small halls. But like, Drew was always going to be the superstar he is. And when Vince McMahon said he was the chosen one, he really was. But it was very much like Anakin Skywalker, where his path had to go this way for him to get there in the end, you know. So I'm eternally happy for him. He's the epitome of everything I want to be as a wrestler. And enormous, which is always what I've wanted to be as a wrestler, but I'm still working on that.
You need to swap hair. That'll do.
No. Well, his hair would be down to my ankles with my legs. So.
All right, Andre, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and congratulations on everything. You know, turning a negative into a positive. It's the kind of story that the world, you know, kind of needs at the moment, isn't it? And hey, really happy for you.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your time.